going on, guys? Schmidt here. Welcome back to another video. And today, guys, real quick before we get into this, I'm going to try and keep this short because I've been kind of overbearing you guys with stuff about my channel for the last few days and just all the crazy support and views and stuff that we've been getting. I just want to say once again thank you to you guys, and mainly thank you for 500 subscribers. If you guys look at my subscriber count right now, it's actually like way past it, but because we've been growing so rapidly the last few days, it looks like I'm way behind, but I'm honestly not. We just hit 500 subscribers like 36 hours ago, if that, and I typically do videos like every other day or every couple days or something like that, so I'm really not that far behind, but I want to thank you guys for that. And I was going to do some like special 500 subscriber stuff, but because we're like just, again, like we're growing so rapidly and we're pretty much halfway between 500 and 1,000 about right now, and maybe by the time you guys are seeing this, we're even way past that. I'm just going to wait and do more stuff until 1,000 subscribers, so one more time, again, thank you guys for all the support. Now, let's get into the video. So today, guys, we have some Call of Duty World War II gameplay on St. Marie du Mont. We're playing some free-for-all using the Type 100. And today, we're going to be talking about Michael Condrey, in a way, sort of admitting to some of the faulty stuff in Call of Duty World War II. Now, COD World War II gets a lot of flack for a lot of different reasons, whether it be the maps, the score streaks, the spawning, the constant camping, which doesn't necessarily always have to do with the game, but it's just kind of the playstyle in which a lot of people seem to use in this game. Just a bunch of things of that nature, and a lot of people want to see a lot of stuff changed. As you guys know, sprint out time is one of the things that a lot of people want to see change in this game, as well as like health regeneration and those kind of things like that. And we just started to get some weapon updates. Just yesterday or the day before, we got the weapon updates to like the Kar 98, the FG42, the grease gun, all those kind of things. And next week, coming with the Resistance DLC event, we're going to be getting some more weapon updates that fix a lot of bugs. I believe it's going to be bringing health regeneration down a little bit as far as the time it takes to regain your health in this game. But if you guys have been paying attention to COD World War II, you know, in depth, you know, kind of with the developers and everything, you know, Michael Condrey has been giving some information on Reddit lately. He's been kind of keeping in contact with the community, letting them know, you know, what they're keeping updated and those kind of things, what they're looking at as the development studio. And I think it's really cool that the studio takes time to speak to the community and tell them what they're thinking, what they're looking at, and giving us their thoughts on our feedback. I think it's important to keep that kind of communication with your community because even if they don't make all the changes to the game that we would like to see, at least they're giving us reason behind it. I think that's very important. However, with Michael Condrey doing this, talking about some of the multiple things, he kind of explained some of the problems that we have with this game. So I guess one of my big problems is kind of the whole map design, and just even though they're getting in depth with the theme of the game and they're really passionate about the World War II setting, I feel like in the multiplayer they're taking it a bit too far in some aspects. And Michael Condrey didn't directly go at this, however, just the way he explained some stuff kind of told us their reasoning behind some of the design quirks in this game. So sometime around a week ago now, Michael Condrey explained their reasoning that they will not be reducing the sprint out time in Call of Duty World War II, at least right now. He explained this because of the setting of World War II, and they wanted to make it a more strategic gameplay style. You know, with the return to boots on the ground, they really wanted to focus on strategic gameplay and things of that nature, and the reason for no basic training, reducing the sprint out time, is due to the fact they don't want to crutch basic training in the game. All of that makes sense, and, you know, even though I don't necessarily totally agree with the decision, I do respect the fact that they are taking the time to explain this to us as the community, and I guess, you know, in a way, for their design purposes, I guess it does make sense. But if you kind of rewind there to one of the things that I just said right there, they want a more strategic gameplay style. Michael Condrey kind of went into a little bit of explanation on this, saying that with the return to boots on the ground and the removal of the boost and thrust jumps and all those kind of things, it felt as though they wanted to go for a more strategic and slower pace of conflict. They wanted more predictable routes, they wanted more predictable setups, they wanted to be more of, you know, I guess to put it in Call of Duty terms, us to be camping on head glitches and strategically waiting for enemies to come by and playing more of a style in that fashion, which I think for a lot of people is not a style in which they love in Call of Duty. I feel like, you know, Call of Duty, at least in the last few years, has developed way more into a style of running around and playing strategical, but at the same time having map flow. And map flow is something that Call of Duty World War II lacks tremendously, but it's designed this way on purpose, as Michael Condrey states. The style that they were going for was just so much more in-depth with the World War II era, because obviously, you know, more in tune with real life, and especially with World War II, I mean, they weren't, you know, running around trying to create map flow in the real war, you guys know what I'm saying? So, you know, they wanted to make it more of a, they really tried to go in-depth with trying to get us to make it feel like we were in the war. And as far as a gaming experience, and relating it to the theme of the game, I can understand this. However, at the same time, it's Call of Duty. It's got to be map flow. If you want this kind of style in your game, save that for the campaign. You know, I played the campaign and it was absolutely fantastic, and, you know, even with playing it, I felt as though I, you know, had some kind of part in the war, or at least I kind of went through some experience in which I learned a lot about the war from it, and that was really cool to see in the campaign. However, none of that kind of stuff, in my opinion, should translate over to the multiplayer. Multiplayer always needs to play like COD always has, and we shouldn't be taking step backs because of the theme of the game. The theme should give the game a theme. I mean, obviously, if it's going to be a World War II game, we should have World War II weapons, World War II equipment. The map should kind of be based off World War II areas like they are, but the game style shouldn't be depicted on the fact that it's in World War II. We shouldn't want to camp in bushes or camp, you know, on certain head glitches just because that was more of a strategic style that they may have partaken in the war. I just don't feel like that is something that should translate over to the multiplayer. And another point Michael Condrey addressed is due to the health regeneration times, which, like I said earlier in the video, are going to be reduced this coming week with the update and the Resistance event coming to Call of Duty World War II. Michael Condrey stated that the reasoning for having a longer health regeneration time at the beginning of the game was due to the fact that they wanted to make players feel like ordinary and vulnerable soldiers. If you guys have paid attention, this has kind of turned into another meme on Michael Condrey. Again, this is not something that should be making its way into multiplayer. When you guys get on to play a video game, you don't want to feel ordinary and vulnerable. You want to feel like a freaking god when you're playing Call of Duty, right? That's the best feeling. Nobody wants to go even all the time. Especially nobody wants to go negative. You don't want to feel ordinary. You don't want to be vulnerable. You want to feel like all the work that you're putting into a video game is making yourself better. And if you've gotten up and become very skillful at the game, you want to feel like a freaking god when you're playing the game, right? Playing video games is an experience to get away from the ordinary everyday life, right? You get on video games to have a different experience, to have fun, and to get away from some of the stuff and experience some things that you never could in real life. We're never going to be in this mass respawn war in real life, but in Call of Duty, you can do that, and that's what makes Call of Duty so fantastic. If we're getting on video games and experiencing an ordinary and vulnerable style, I mean, real life is ordinary and vulnerable. Why do we want to experience the same kind of thing that we would experience in real life on a video game? That's just not the way that this game, in my opinion, should be handled and should be taken throughout. Guys, let me know what you think down in the comments about all of this. Basically, what I'm getting at with this video is Michael Condrey is explaining the fact that Call of Duty World War II was set up to make it feel too much like the war and make us feel ordinary and vulnerable. My opinion on this is that there is no reason this should be translated over the multiplayer. It should be left in the campaign, and that's it. Multiplayer should just specifically be a theme. The only thing the multiplayer should be focused around as far as the theme goes is things like the guns, the equipment. If you want to, you know, throw in some like basic trainings type stuff, or it's just some names for stuff that kind of translate more to the war. Those are the things that should be translated to the theme of this game. You shouldn't make the playstyle of the game try to play like more like real life or more like an ordinary and vulnerable war. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to smack the Schmidt out of the like button if you guys did. We're on the road to 1K, guys, so make sure you guys keep supporting the channel. I've been absolutely loving it lately. Hope you guys all have a good one. I will see you guys on another video. So long, everybody.